We're all good to go on my end over here. Hey, everyone, it's Mark Lack here, and you should be able to see my screen at this point. So on my slides, you can see that today I'm going to cover a brand new way to create a magnetic personal brand for you, one that attracts leads, sales, and business opportunities 24/7, 365, even when you're sleeping. And I know that sounds crazy, especially since you can do it with $0 in ads. Now, listen, I've been perfecting this system for close to a decade now, and this is the fastest way I found to get started online, even if you're a total beginner just starting out, even if nobody has even heard of you yet. This is an easy way for you to add an extra $10,000 a month or more to your business, and we're going to show you how that all works here on this new training. Now, with that being said, I'm getting a little antsy here because we've got a lot to cover right now, and I'm sure you're excited as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, my guess is that there's a problem that you're experiencing, and maybe you can relate to this. You're probably experiencing that you have some uncertainty, a lack of clarity around exactly what you need to do to be successful online, whether you're trying to grow your audience, whether you're trying to make money, whether you're trying to scale your business, become better positioned in the marketplace. And ultimately, you just want to have a strategy that's proven and gives you the confidence and clarity to have a clear path every day, every week, every month, every year to be able to go and achieve your goals. I get it. I've been there, and that's what this training is going to help you understand what the next steps are for you to take. Now, if you've experienced any of this, you are in the right place. Perhaps you have a product and a service that's great, and my definition would be that it actually helps the people who buy it. Your product and service really does make a difference in people's lives when they invest in buying it. But here's the problem. Maybe you don't know how to actually get the exposure that you need to sell more and be able to serve more people and add more value and really have the impact that you're trying to have. Maybe your ads are not converting at a profit and you don't know your numbers well enough to be able to scale. Perhaps your content gets little to no engagement, and as a result, you don't really have an audience or a community to be able to impact consistently and serve through products and services. Maybe you have zero partners or affiliates or joint ventures promoting you currently, or at least nobody who can actually drive big sales volume for you. You might have little to no credibility, as most of us start with that, which is okay. Or worse, you actually do have credibility and knowledge and expertise, but you still aren't having the sales growth that you want and deserve to have. And ultimately, you just want to get more customers and clients that you can serve, support, and profit from. And if any of that relates to you, you are in the right place. So strap in. This is going to be potentially a masterclass that can change your business and financial situation. So let's dive in. Now, look, some of you may be wondering, as you've probably been invited to many free trainings online before, is this one that I'm on right now actually worth watching all the way through? Well, rather than just giving you my words, let's see what other people who've watched this are saying. Cody Jefferson watched the same training. Most importantly, he took action on what he learned, and he went from $10,000 months, which is admirable, but to $50,000 a week, which is life-changing. And just imagine if you made $50,000 a week. Well, that's what happened for Cody Jefferson. And he said, Mark Lack has been absolutely instrumental. And so who knows, maybe this can do the same thing for you as it did for Cody. And here's one more final person I'll share with you. That's Ron Sanchez. And Ron actually made over $1 million in sales with this training. And most importantly, by following our simple step-by-step process you're learning right now. So two people who have gone on to make amazing amounts of money, all from applying what they learned here. So yes, I would say this is different and better. So strap in, because this is a masterclass that has the potential to do the same for you as it's done for many others who've watched it. Now, I want to be clear. My promise to you during this training is we're going to cover a lot of things, but here's the key focus. We are going to talk about how the pros impact millions and make millions online, but more importantly, how you can do the same thing. We're going to cover the 5 mistakes people make with their personal brands that cost them time and money. And we're going to talk about the secret weapon of all 7-figure personal brands, the simple 2-step funnel to getting high-ticket clients. This also works for low-ticket offers as well. And ultimately, how you can become the authority or one of the leaders in your industry through personal branding, should you choose to want to have that type of positioning. Now, these are just some of my thought leader, celebrity influencer clients, some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, like Ed Milet, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. People like A-Rod, who's now a successful entrepreneur, marrying Jennifer Lopez. We got Manny Koshman in the bottom left, who's a real estate mogul who's done $800 million in real estate. transactions. He's also got one of the best car collections in the world with about $40 million in cars and over 3 of the best Bugattis. We've got the controversial Jake Paul with billions of free organic views and tens of millions of followers and tens of millions of dollars a year in revenue. And Jordan Belfort from the famous movie The Wolf of Wall Street, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. These are just a couple of the influencer, thought leader, celebrity clients I get the privilege to work with. And I'm not able to share all of them. These ones I'm allowed to share. So again, if what I've done for these people is good enough for them, trust me, the strategies are powerful and they're going to be good enough for you. Now, real quick, in addition to thank you for your time, if you watch this presentation all the way through, we're going to give you this as a gift. And our system is able to track how far you make it. And if you make it to the end, we're going to give you this for free. It's how to reach 1 million people online in the next 42 days. This is a course we sell on our website. You're welcome to go buy it. But just for watching this free presentation till the end, we're going to give you this completely for free. And again, our system will know that you made it to the end and automatically email you this as a gift for making it. So thank you so much for staying to the end. Also, my agenda during the small amount of time that we have together over the next few hours is really to get you to have the confidence and certainty that I have, knowing that if you leverage your personal brand, if you invest the time, the energy, the resources into growing your personal brand and leveraging it the way that I'm about to show you, you will see that this can and will be one of the most valuable assets your personal brand can become in anything that you do, any career, product, service, business, charity, or anything that you do moving forward. Your personal brand goes with you forever. It's your reputation. And so this is one of the best things you could ever invest in. And I want you to understand that the same way that I do, and most importantly, take action on it by the end of this training. So that's my agenda. And we're going to circle back on this in a minute, but you can see there's a triangle on your screen here. And what it is, it's very simple. You've got a product brand, business brand, and if you don't, you at least have a personal brand. And at some point, you'll probably be working towards having all 3 of these if you don't yet. But I want to be clear that your personal brand really does amplify everything you do. Every business, every product you have, your personal brand can elevate and amplify the success of it. We're going to circle back more on this later, but I want to put that there for now. Now, I want to be clear. This can help accelerate growth for you. If you already have a business that you want to create stability and growth for, if you want to start a business in the near future and you want to do it the right way, if you want to earn a side income by providing personal branding as a service, or if you just want to move up in your career at your current job and want to accelerate growth, this is all going to be able to help you in any of those categories. Now, real quick, let's just get this out of the way. There's no special requirements needed. You don't need very much experience or creativity. You don't need a ton of money up front to get started. And thank God you don't need any technical skills, or I wouldn't be able to do this. Luckily, I've got a team now, but I've been doing this for 8 years. And the first few years by myself, I didn't have any technical skills. So trust me, you can do this too. Also, you don't need to speak to anybody in person or travel or leave your home, which we all know now is actually more important than it's ever been. So if you choose to just work from home, you can run a successful business or side income from the comfort of your house. Also, you don't need to work crazy hours a day or quit your existing job. And you don't need to spend many, many years to finally build the momentum to get results. Although the longer you do this, the more successful you'll become, obviously, if you're following our process. So now that we got that out of the way, let's dive into the 5 mistakes people make with their personal brand. And mistake number 1 is the wrong content. You see, I don't want to see you creating content with the intention to sell from your content. That's going to come later, and we'll touch on that. Also, don't create content that's boring and not fun, or that's not valuable or educational. Don't create content coming from a place of your ego or bragging, or that's rude or judgmental. There's enough people already doing that. We don't need any more of it. Also, don't create content that looks like you're not even trying or that makes you look unprofessional. Unless for some reason that's the brand perception that you want to have, then you can go ahead and do that. Now, we got what not to do out of the way. So let's focus more on what kind of content you should create. Now, obviously, there's an unlimited amount of content you could create. I've created about 11,000 to 12,000 pieces of content over the last 8 years. So these are my favorite. Doesn't mean you can't do others. These are just my favorite, and I'll tell you why. So 60-second videos, primarily for Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, or other short-form platforms. So obviously things like YouTube or other platforms like Clubhouse, those are a little bit more long-form. People are going on there with the intention to consume longer-form content. Maybe that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe even in a couple hours. But Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn are more short-form platforms. So specifically on those platforms and other like them, like a TikTok, for example. Obviously, you go to the platforms where your audience is, so disregard the other platforms that I'm naming if your audience isn't there. But obviously, I'm naming the biggest platforms. And so short form is very critical because most people don't know you yet, so they can't possibly like and trust you if they don't know you. And so the goal here is, how do we just get somebody to know you? And then actually, by adding value to them in the form of entertainment or education or both, actually provide them in 1 minute. Now, granted, it could be a little bit longer, it could be a little bit shorter, but the premise here is short form content about 1 minute long. How do we actually add value to them? We help them avoid pain or gain pleasure. We help them get one step closer to something that they're searching for, one step closer to getting an answer, one step closer to an action item they can take to move towards the things they want or away from the things they don't. And we'll share some examples of this. But the average watch time on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn is about 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They kept scrolling, they're already gone. So to put up a long form video to a complete stranger, you're asking for a lot. So just remember, short form content is a great thing to do, not only when you're getting started, but also ongoing, depending on the platform. Now, also, we're going to talk more about this as well. Interviews and authority alignment, which means you align yourself with other authorities, thought leaders, and experts who already have the credibility and the track record that you don't yet. Most likely, I'm making an assumption. If you, like me, are just getting started online, when I was, you probably don't start magically with authority and credibility, in which case interviewing people who do have a track record, maybe 5, 10, 20, or 30 years in an industry, and they're a true thought leader and expert, you want to interview those people because you're going to borrow their credibility. And so we're going to talk more about this, but interviews with top level people in my industry, or really any industry that I could borrow their credibility, like a celebrity or influencer from another industry outside of your own, is still very powerful. And it's one of the fastest ways to get credibility and to gain authority. How-to videos or demonstration videos are fantastic. Look, we all have smartphones and we all have cameras and video cameras on those smartphones, which means anytime, anywhere, you probably have the ability to record a video. And even if it's not professional, it doesn't matter. You see, people just want content. And obviously, later down the road, if you can make it more professional by hiring somebody, then great. But there's no excuse. Create content, and imperfect content is always going to be better than no content at all and telling yourself the excuse or story of, well, I'll just wait until I have the whole production team. No, don't do that. In fact, research shows that in most scenarios, people actually don't even care about the super high quality movie production stuff as long as it's good content. And so the content is the most important part. So the whole demonstration concept is, don't tell people, show them. And that's the whole premise here, is anytime that you can show somebody what to do, show somebody how you can help them, show somebody what they can do themselves to, again, move closer to their goals or away from the things they don't want to experience or have, you're going to be adding value. But it's totally different than if I tell you what to do versus if I show you. So for example, I could say, hey, there's 3 things that as a chiropractor business you could do to grow your business. And I just tell you what those 3 things are. It's not going to be nearly as powerful as if I showed you. Number 1 is running Facebook ads. And here's exactly how we do that. I'm going to pull up the Facebook ad interface, click here, click here, click here, you're done. Step 2. And so I'm actually showing you what to do instead of telling you. So anytime you can demonstrate to somebody, it's way more effective. Also, swipe files, checklists, cheat sheets. People love this stuff. Here's the 7 things I do before I start a presentation. Here's the 8 questions you should ask your plumber before they come into your home, etc. So anytime you can give those away, people love it. Blog articles, either on your own website or on other people's blogs, be a guest featured on somebody's publication. And the ultimate goal being to be on Forbes and Inc. and Entrepreneur and other authoritative publications. Edutainment or storytelling videos are fantastic. Anytime that you can tell somebody's story that makes the audience relate. So here's a way of looking at it. You want the viewer, the audience, the prospective customer who's scrolling on social media, you want them to hear the story, either your story or somebody else's story who you've helped, and they identify themselves in the story. They see themselves inside your story because they have experienced a similar journey. I understand how you feel because I felt the same way. And then it wasn't until I found this amazing path that I was able to break through and get these results. So if you're experiencing the pain, the frustration, I've been there. And I'm going to tell you my story to show you that I understand what you're going through, and I actually found a solution I want to share with you for free. And people will love to follow you when they feel like you understand them. Also, summarize chapters of best-selling books. This is one of the easiest. It's one of my favorite, and it's actually pretty much most people's favorite when we get feedback. And it's as simple as this. You go and figure out what the problem is you're trying to solve, what the brand is that you're trying to build, and then you go and buy the top 5 or 10 best-selling books in the marketplace, either tangible physical books on Amazon, or you can go buy the audiobooks. It doesn't matter. The premise is you're not the first person trying to solve the problem, most likely 99.9% of the time. And with that being the case, somebody else already is a thought leader or wrote a best-selling book. And probably, most likely, most people that write books are typically introverts. That's why they write instead of go and speak on stage or camera. And so when they write these books, they're best-selling books. It's proven content people love. It's usually very well written. It's very nicely summarized. And so guess what? They're probably never going to make short videos summarizing each chapter. And the average person doesn't even read one book a year, either fiction or nonfiction. They don't even read one book. So the odds of them finding the best-selling book and reading it is slim to none statistically. So you're going to be the person who's going to leverage the best-selling chapters of these books. You're going to go and take each chapter. We'll say most books have 20 to 30 chapters. So each book has 20 to 30 blogs, 20 to 30 videos that you can now post on the platforms your audience is likely to be. YouTube, fantastic. You should definitely be there. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, yes, probably there as well. Definitely YouTube, though. You should be building a channel where you summarize the chapters of best-selling books. And you don't need to be the expert. You need to be the broker, the facilitator, the connector to an audience and other experts. Remember, the average person's not going to read that expert's book, but they will go scrolling on social media and YouTube. And if they can see you and your personality and your experience and your authentic self sharing your version of this person's chapter 1, chapter 2. Hey, for example, chapter 1 of Tony Robbins' book says the 6 human needs that everybody needs to understand, and how this helps you in every relationship. So let me break down the 6 human needs for you and then share my own experience. And then people are going to love you for it. And you also can give credit back to the author and say, that was just Tony Robbins, chapter 2 of this book. If you guys want to learn more, I put the link below. You can go get the book on Amazon. And you could even set up an affiliate link so that anytime somebody buys the book, you make a little, a couple bucks off the book or something. It's not going to be much, but it's also an income generator for you. So another fantastic way to broker, facilitate, and connect expert content with an audience, with you being the vehicle doing it. You don't have to have the imposter syndrome of, who am I to be giving advice? Well, I'm only giving you the advice from somebody who's a true expert and thought leader, and I'm summarizing their content almost like a book club, but I'm going to read the book, summarize the chapter of the book on video, and add my own finesse, flavor, and personality to it. And that's one of the first ways you can become a well-known person online, is by brokering other expert content. Eventually, you'll be the next expert and build your audience. You can do hot seat Q&A video trainings, speaker reel highlights. You can do infographics and trainings like I'm sharing with you here. And it goes on and on, right? These are just some of my favorites. Now, ultimately, you're trying to solve a problem. And when you're trying to solve a problem, this is where, if you understand the concept that you're going to get paid in life for the problem you solve at scale, consistently. So for example, if you solve a problem for your company or for your career, if you stop showing up, you're probably going to stop getting paid because you stopped solving the problem. You stopped adding value consistently. And the more value you add, the bigger the problem you solve, the more money you typically get paid. And I remember a billionaire mentor of mine taught me, he said, Mark, if you ever want to become a billionaire, the best path to doing it is to solve a problem that 1 billion people have and are already willing to pay for. And that is likely going to put you on the path to becoming a billionaire. And so just remember, obviously for regular people like us, that's probably not a path we're pursuing, but it's a good concept. So the problem you solve, I want you to write down. And then just remember all these different topics of content you can create around solving the problem. So here's an example. Let's say that you solve the problem of health and wellness. You help people release weight, lose weight, gain muscle, get in the best shape of their life, have more energy, more mental clarity, feel better about themselves, etc. When you look better, feel better, you perform better, methodology. So if that's what you help somebody with, this is an example. Then topic number 1 could be telling people what type of foods to eat and not to eat, and recipes to make from home, and how to stay healthy while you're traveling or during a pandemic. And topic number 2 could be supplements to take and for your body or your goals. Topic number 3 could be busting the myths of the industry, what's true and not true, and with modern research and studies. Topic number 4, summarizing chapters of best-selling books in the health and wellness industry. Topic number 5, interviewing the authors of those books and other experts and thought leaders and influencers in the health and wellness space. Topic number 6 could be busting the mindset and breaking down the whole internal game of health and wellness, and how even if you have the perfect diet and exercise plan, if your mindset is wrong, you're still going to probably not achieve your goals. So right there, every one of those topics could have subset topics and break down into probably hundreds, maybe even thousands of different topics if you really took the time to go through the exercise. And now you just mapped out 1 or 2 years of content and you're done. Now you just have to go and film it. You don't have to think about it. Again, this is just an example. This is just an exercise, but hopefully it's been helpful for you to see how easy it is to create valuable, relevant content across a multitude of different topics that solve a problem, that move your audience 1, 2, 3 steps closer to the goals they want, the outcomes they want, and away from the problems and the things they don't want. And if you do that consistently enough, you're going to build trust and rapport with an audience, and that's going to lead you 1 step closer to being able to sell them a product and a service, or recommend as an affiliate a product and a service. The first step, though, is building the perception, the brand, and the audience. Then we move into the next step. So another fun way of looking at this is pretty simple. Your content is the breadcrumbs to the product, which is the loaf of bread. Just a fun metaphor, right? So you don't have to sell them the product. You just have to let them experience the breadcrumbs, the sample, the test drive, and the demonstration of it. So it's so much easier to sell somebody a car if they just drove it around for the last couple hours and they basically sold themselves, right? So if you've ever been to the big warehouses, Costco here in America, they have Costco, and they usually sell lots of new products and services, and you can buy products in bulk at a discount. The way they move volume and products there, especially new ones that you're unfamiliar with and haven't tried yet, is they have all these little booths at the end of every aisle, and somebody's demoing the product, cooking the product, making the product. And you not only get to see them experiencing how they cook it, how they make it, the product. Maybe they'll use a blender they're trying to sell, and they'll try to sell you the fruit that they put in the blender. So they're going to show you the blender and the fruit they're making in the blender. So at the end, they let you have the option. You got to experience the whole process. And then at the end, they're like, now that you've tried the berries and the smoothie, and you saw how well the blender works, would you like to buy the fruit packets, or would you like to buy the blender, or both? And so anytime that you can let somebody experience and demonstrate to them the product, that's going to highly increase the likelihood of them buying. Remember, people love to buy. They typically don't like to be sold. And so instead of trying to sell, you just do a better job demonstrating to them. And one of the best ways to do that is always producing valuable, relevant content that's like an experiential test drive of your product in a very small, bite-sized breadcrumb version. Now, I know this might sound simple, but I want to denominate it down to results financially for you. And using exactly what I shared with you, Rihanna Milne actually went on to make tens of thousands of dollars in just a few weeks. She said, despite all the unemployment and impact of COVID, I've been selling my high-ticket $15,000 programs with ease. And I just celebrated a $30,000 week. Mark's classes have taught me so much. I'm so truly grateful. And Rihanna Milne is a trauma coach. And literally just by following what I shared with you, she's gone on to do tens of thousands of dollars a week, all from the comfort and safety of her own home. So what I just shared with you is very powerful and can do the same for you when you take action on it. Now, continuing, mistake number 2, no proven blueprint. Now, look, most people in March were scrambling because of the pandemic back in 2020, and the economy was collapsing, and the stock market and businesses were getting shut down, and people were losing their jobs. It was crazy. But here we are, blessed to be able to have an online business, and most importantly, a proven blueprint to follow that allowed us to continue to grow our business regardless of what was going on in the world. Almost like recession proof, economy proof. And we were able to do $149,900, actually more than $150,000 after wire transfers, PayPals, and other merchant accounts. Over $150,000 on a single day on March 29th. Now, we don't always do 6 figures a day, but we usually do tens of thousands of dollars a day, as I'll show you coming up. But I just want to show you the power of having a proven blueprint is that right there. You can have 6-figure years, 6-figure months, 6-figure weeks, even 6-figure days, which would be $100,000 plus. And so I'm going to walk you through the blueprint of how to develop, launch, monetize, and scale your personal brand by following a proven process. So let's go through it right now. But first, let me explain to you just really quickly how this blueprint changed my life and, more importantly, thousands of other people's lives. I've been able to buy my dream home in Orange County, California, give my wife the life she's always wanted, give her the wedding she's wanted, travel the world to all the places we've always wanted, Paris, Italy, Rome, got to see the Colosseums, do tons of fun adventures, swim with whale sharks, zip line, and Hawaii and other places around the world. Just live our best life. And that's what I want for you and for everybody else out there. I don't even know you, but I can authentically say that regardless, I truly just want people to live their best life. And this blueprint allows me to do that and thousands of others. And I want to share it with you right now. So what I've also been able to achieve professionally is I get paid to speak on the biggest stages in the business world that literally pay me tens of thousands of dollars for just a 1-hour keynote. Events I used to be in the audience and buy a ticket to attend. And now I'm speaking at them because this proven blueprint changed my life. I have my own TV show, Business Rockstars, which is on Amazon Prime Video Network. It's on radio, television, social media, airplanes. Literally, you can see right there, I'm sitting in first class on Delta Airlines watching my own show on first class on the touchscreen. So if next time you're on an airline, go on the touchscreen and see if that airline like Delta Airlines happens to have Business Rockstars on it. I've been featured in Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneur, ABC, Fox News, CNBC, Huffington Post, you name it, dozens of the biggest publications in the world. Because of my online business and my proven blueprint to make millions of dollars online from the comfort and safety of my own home, I'm also a big investor in a lot of things. One of them is commercial real estate. I own hundreds of apartment units. And also I get to work with some pretty cool thought leaders and celebrity influencers. And again, I don't share any of this to impress you. I don't even know you. I share this to prove the point that obviously my blueprint works. And not only has it worked for me and given me the life of my dreams with my family and friends, but it's also worked for thousands of others. And hopefully you're going to be one of the next people that uses this. So here we go. Stage 1, you need to develop your personal brand. And this is just conceptual. I'm not going to get down into the intellectual step-by-step what you need to do because there's just not enough time. So conceptually, I'm going to share this with you right now. And here's what it is. You first need to get clear on your niche and audience. Pretty clear and pretty simple. You just need to get really clear on exactly who you're trying to serve and support. What is the problem they have? Which is why I'm referencing that graph from earlier. If you solve the problem, there's going to be a higher chance they're going to actually take you serious. So what problem do you solve? Who has that problem? And then know how you actually want to be perceived to the audience. Do you want to be perceived as the expert? Do you want to be perceived as somebody who's on the journey with them? Do you want to be perceived as somebody who's going to be the trusted advisor who, even if you're not the expert, you can be perceived as a trusted advisor, somebody who's just like them, but who spends all your time doing the research and the studying of an industry and of other experts and products and services to then bring your unbiased feedback and say, look, I don't have anything to even sell you. In fact, I'm just going out here in the marketplace doing all my research to find out what is the best. How do you want to be perceived? And just get really clear on that. And then also figure out the problem or problems that you want to solve. Because again, the problem that you solve consistently at scale will determine how much money you get paid by who you help. And then we're going to go into stage 2, which is you actually need to launch your personal brand. And again, you're going to do that by identifying where your audience is hanging out online. Is it Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn? There's so many places they could be and likely are spending their time on a daily basis, consuming content, reading the news, watching videos, etc. And so once you know that, then it's easy to know what platforms you're going to reach them on. And then you just have to decide, are you going to buy, borrow, or create traffic? There's only 3 ways to get leads and attention and eyeballs. You buy it through paid media, you borrow it through affiliates, JVs, and things of that sort, or you create traffic organically, which is kind of a hoping and praying strategy because there's only a small select group of people who have gained millions of followers organically for free. And usually they don't actually have, a proven process that somebody else can follow because they got in at the right time. There was a little bit element of luck to it. There's also maybe some SEO and timing, So again, creating traffic's fantastic. We teach how to buy, borrow, and create. But again, if I only had to choose 2 out of the 3, I'd choose buying it and borrowing it because when you're creating it, you're kind of relying on other people, other algorithms, other platforms. When you're buying it, almost every platform in the world, radio, television, social media, magazines, it doesn't matter. They'll take your money and they'll let you put an ad in front of people always. And then you just have to know your numbers. Can I spend $1 and make 2 back? as a hypothetical elementary example, and then borrowing it, affiliates and JVs that promote you. But again, that means you're relying on somebody else. So ultimately, buying it, I believe, is number one. Borrowing it is at least tied for number one, or number two, creating it is the last one, in my opinion, for the reasons stated. So we help you with all of those. Now, in stage 3, this is most people's favorite because this is where you make the money. This is where you need to monetize your personal brand. And you do that by having a strong, irresistible offer or multiple offers in your ascension ladder that people actually want to buy, which means that you're not guessing they want this. You're doing market research first to validate people want to buy it before you spend any time creating something. Next, you're going to take people through your ascension model, which takes complete total strangers all over the internet and leads them up your ascension model to getting them to know you, like you, trust you, which means they go from a lead to a prospect to a customer. And then ultimately, you want to optimize your audience flow and sales funnel, which again is very simple. We're going to cover that coming up. It's how do you take a lead and convert them into a customer? In fact, we're so good at this process that in the last 7 days, we made over $298,000 just in a week, which is a typical week for us. 298,000 plus PayPal, wire transfers, and other merchant accounts. We, do over $300,000 a week, which is nice. Obviously, our profit on that ranges between 35 and 40% because it's not what you make that matters, it's what you keep. But a 35 to 40% net profit margin on a 300K week is very good. So again, I'm just being transparent with you guys on the numbers and what I believe matters most. But monetizing your personal brand is most people's favorite part of our training. And we're going to come back on that. And the last one is stage 4. And this is where most people struggle because this is when you scale your personal brand. And at this level, you need to get really good at systematizing and automating everything, and also finding your team so that you can outsource and delegate, and then know your numbers so that you can scale with confidence. And most people struggle at this, which is why we spend a lot of time hand-holding people here to really help you scale up, which means my definition of scale would be that you can have a business that runs without you needing to be in it all the time. And also, you have more than just you doing everything in your company. There's what's called an organizational chart. There's different roles and positions in your company. There's different tasks and activities and responsibilities. And you just find people to do those for you, depending on how big or small you want to grow. And then from there, you can have a nice $1 million or $2 million or $5 or $10 million a year business. Maybe that sounds crazy to you and you just want to make 100 or 200 grand. Then fantastic. This is all going to be so much easier for you because as a metaphor, it's like you just want to stop at high school. You don't even want to go to college, let alone master's, let alone doctorate level. So fantastic. If you want to stop at just a couple $100 grand a year, this becomes even easier for you. So incredibly easy. And so doing exactly what I shared with you, the blueprint hasn't just made us millions of dollars. It's also helped people like Balaj Cardos make over $150,000 in the first 30 days. And people like Patch Baker, one of our most successful students, made over $1.2 million in the first 27 days. So not everybody makes $150,000 in 30 days and definitely not $1.2 million in 27 days, but it does happen. And it's all from following the same blueprint we're sharing with you right now. Now, in mistake number 3, this is when we talked about earlier, no audience flow and funnel, which really just means that you have to understand you only get to make a first impression once. And I believe that your leads, which are people, are all over the internet. There's over 3 billion people. Almost half of the entire planet is on the internet at any given moment. And so when you understand this, you have to understand that all the different platforms that are out there on the internet usually allow you to pay to get in front of their audience or to organically post content on those platforms like a YouTube, a Google, a Facebook, an Instagram, a LinkedIn, a TikTok, a Twitter. Those are all content-based social media platforms that allow you to produce content for free, post it for free, build an audience for free. And then if you choose, you can usually pay those companies that I named, and they will gladly take your money anywhere from $1 a day up to an unlimited amount of money. And they allow you to pay to promote products, services, and content, even interviews and anything that you want that's compliant with their policy, meaning that it's just not totally ridiculous and scammy or spammy. And you can put this in front of anybody, anytime by paying to do it. And you can even start with a dollar a day budget. So you're like, Mark, I don't understand this. I don't have a lot of money for this. Great. Neither did I. And I started with $1 single a day. and $1 can get you about 300 eyeballs. Think about that. 300 people that you target of your choice with specific or broad parameters. You can choose exactly who you want to show this to for just $1 single. And we'll show you more about how to do this. So the first step is you got to identify your leads and what platforms they're on. Then we got to get them to be aware of you. Now, my belief is, and having made millions and millions of dollars online, is you only get to make a first impression once, and your first impression is best to show up serving, not selling. Again, I'll say it a different way. I believe that when you meet somebody for the first time in person or on the internet, you're better off serving them than selling them with your first impression. Because again, I personally don't like when I meet somebody for the first time and all they try to do is sell me. They don't try to get to know me, understand me, ask me anything about what I'm trying to accomplish, what my goals are, and what I need, what I want. They just go straight for the kill shot and try to sell me before they have any time at all to build rapport and trust with me. And so I believe that your first impression should be serving, not selling. And so when you're going to produce content, you don't want to sell, which is why I said don't create content with the intention to sell. That comes later, as it does down here. Conversion is later. It's the second from the bottom. And so first, you get your leads, you identify the platforms, you produce content that you can do organically, you can pay, and you can also get other people to shout you out, promote you, etc., which we'll touch more on later. And then you can generate a lead with a lead magnet. Hey, if you like my content, you should download my training, my PDF on the 3 costly mistakes people make, or the 7 questions you should ask everybody before you hire them, etc. You can join my challenge, take my quiz, whatever, download my free ebook, generate the lead. They give you their name, their email, and then they go into a nurturing sequence. Could be a private Facebook group, could be an email newsletter, could be a text message sequence, could be a podcast, could be a variety of different nurturing sequences. And then you qualify them so you work with the right person, because we all know it sucks to work with the wrong person and have to refund them. So do a better job qualifying, making sure you're working with only the right people. And then ultimately conversions. How do you actually enroll this person into a product and a service that's going to have the highest chance and probability of getting them the results that they want? And then indoctrination. This is where you increase the customer lifetime value, which means a customer is worth so much to you on the initial purchase, the first transaction, but they're worth a heck of a lot more on the second, third, fourth transaction. And there's studies out there that say it's 5 times harder to get a stranger to buy for the first time than to get a customer who's already bought from you to buy again. And so basically you have to understand, when you know your numbers, if a customer is worth $100 on the first transaction, but 12 months later they're worth $1,000, then what is the customer worth to you? Not $100, they're worth $1,000. And so you can now invest a lot more of your profit and money back up into the top of the funnel to get more leads, more people to be aware of you, and build a bigger audience and nurturing list, and then qualify and convert more customers that are not worth $100. They're worth $1,000. It just takes 12 months for all the money to come in, depending on how you indoctrinate your audience. Serve and support them with other products and services that are yours internally or that you outsource with affiliates and joint ventures. So again, having a funnel and an audience flow like this, and we break it down for you step by step, is extremely important. In fact, Ken Canyon said in our Shorten the Gap private members group, hey guys, a little note, I did my first funnel and I made $9,875 in just 5 days. So he made almost $10,000 in 5 days. Imagine if you had $10,000 hit your account in the next 5 days. It happened for Ken. It can happen for you. And it's all from having an effective audience flow and funnel, the way that will help you. Now, I believe, having been in the industry for 8 years and definitely put in my 10,000 plus hours, and I've made millions and tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars if you include the results that my clients and students have got, but personally made tens of millions of dollars. And I believe that the biggest reason entrepreneurs fail is this: no one knows who you are. And what I really mean by that is not enough people know who you are, because if they did, you'd have the business, the products, the finances, the money, the sales, the customers, the brand, the positioning that you want, if all of the right people already knew who you were and you found a way to add value to them. So it's not that no one knows who you are, but it's that no one knows who you are at scale. You don't have enough of the right prospective customers and clients and partners know who you are yet. And so let me know if you've ever heard this before. Have you ever heard this saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know? And I'm sure you have, because at some point in our life, as we grow up, we've heard this in some capacity. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And so I believe that what you know matters. Obviously, you need to have knowledge and skill sets to be a valuable person in the world and get paid and have a good career. But also, we know that that's not always the case. If who you know is a very successful mom or dad, or whoever, family member or friend, and they carry you to the top and give you these opportunities. So it's not what you know, it's who you know. Yes, okay, we could get into the back and forth here. What you know matters and who you know matters, but there's a third level few people talk about. But when you hear it, you're going to understand it, you're going to recognize it, and you're going to say, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. So here's what it is. There's research that shows what you know is limited. And basically what that means is you can't know everything. And if you think you can, you're probably a teenager still. But you can't know everything, right? It's just a fact. You cannot know everything. And there's research that shows you can't know everyone. So what you know and who you know matters, but it's limited. It's a fact. You can't know everything. You can't know everyone. So the third thing that I'm going to share with you is exponentially massive leverage, and that's who knows you. And any celebrity, influencer, entertainer, thought leader at the top level that millions and millions of people know, usually they make millions and millions of dollars. And that's because they have so many people who know who they are. And if you think about the top thought leaders, the top brands, the top personal brands, they have the most people that know them. And so think about this. What you know is limited, who you know is limited, but who knows you is exponential. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but billions of people on this planet could know who you are. Right? I could name like presidents or Jesus or Justin Bieber, like hundreds of millions, maybe billions and billions of people know who those individuals are. So guess what? Who you know or who knows you is so exponential that it's actually, I hate to say it, more powerful and important than what you know or who you know. And just to prove this, we're going to get into mistake number 4, which is that no one knows who you are and it's costing you money. And again, not enough of the right people who could benefit from your product and service know you. Because as we said earlier, if you have a product and a service that truly makes a difference in the lives of those who buy it, then you have a moral responsibility to get it in front of those people if you can help them. It's like you have the Band-Aid, the cure, and they're hurting, they're in pain, and you can help them. You have a responsibility to get in front of them and to get more people to know you. And so that's what we're talking about here is we need to get more people to know you, and that's going to help you make a lot more money. So I've come to the realization and the fact that your financial success, as is mine, is in direct proportion to how many people know, like, and trust you. And here's a fun visual. Let's say that 1,000 people know you, 100 like you, and 10 trust you. I believe that people who trust you are most likely to give you money versus those who just like you and know you. I don't think people who know you and like you are as likely going to give you their money versus somebody who says, you know what, I trust you. And so in my experience, having made millions and millions of dollars, I've never had somebody say, I don't trust you. I don't trust your company. I don't trust what you're doing, but here's my money. Nobody says that. What they do say is, I trust you. I have a good feeling about this. I'm going to invest. And so with that being said, how do we get more people to trust you so that more people buy from you? So I went on and I read 500 plus books on sales, marketing, persuasion, neurolinguistic programming, copywriting, you name it. I studied all of this stuff, even the crazy stuff, the spiral dynamics, the holodynamics, the evolutionary consciousness theories. I studied all of that to understand, how do I get people to trust me so that I can get the opportunities that I want, so that I can help people take action and buy products and services that are going to most likely benefit them. And on my journey, I learned a lot. But what I can tell you is nothing is easier than getting people to know you, and law of averages kicks in. So in the same percentage as before, if now we just get 1 million people to know who you are, and you're not really even consciously thinking about trying to get people to like you or trust you in a manipulative way, you're just literally going about your life with a little bit more awareness around how you want to be perceived and how you're going to show up and add value as somebody who's positioning themselves to become a trusted advisor and a leader within their industry and niche by adding value and leading first. So now we get more people to know you through buying, borrowing, and creating traffic and using the powerful social media and the internet platforms that exist to us for free. And if we get 1 million people to know you, in the same percentage as before, 100,000 like you and 10,000 trust you. We weren't trying to get people to like or trust us. We were just being our authentic self and adding value and having a higher level of awareness to build rapport and trust through adding value without selling. And as a result, you're going to have the same percentage as before. Now you're going to just have 10,000 people trust you in this hypothetical example. You're just having a lot more zeros, which means you're going to make a lot more money. And so again, this is the whole theory behind if we just get more people to know you and we don't change anything. You don't get smarter. You don't have better strategies. You don't have better marketing, better branding, better positioning. You don't have any of that. You only got way more people to know you. 1,000 times more people now know you. 1,000 times the amount of people now know you. You're going to make a lot more money. And so it's a pretty simple theory, and we've proven that it works. And so rather than just saying that, I want to show you right here. YouTube's top earner is an 8-year-old kid who reviews toys, Ryan Toy Reviews. And so last year in 2020, during the pandemic, when most businesses were struggling, this 8-year-old child playing with toys made $30 million last year alone. How is that possible? Well, he has 29 million subscribers and people who follow him. And as a result, YouTube pays you as a content creator for the eyeballs you get on the videos you create. And then they run ads from people like me and other companies who run ads on top of certain specific channels and videos, and he gets a percentage of that ad revenue. That's one of the biggest ways he made $30 million last year alone. And he's an 8-year-old. Now, look, my wife and I plan on having children, and I only could imagine if my child got paid money to play with toys, that'd be pretty sweet. And maybe you're a parent watching right now and your child plays with toys, but they sure ain't getting paid $30 million or any money for that fact. And so this is just a funny real life example to show you that a child, purely based on the amount of people who follow him and watch his videos, AKA people who know him. Remember, this kid clearly does not know that much. He's 8 years old. He doesn't know as much as he will when he's 30 or 40. He's 8. So what he knows is not making him rich, and who he knows is not making him rich. He doesn't know his 29 million subscribers. It's impossible. But the 29 million subscribers know who he is. In fact, some of you already might recognize and know who he is and know his channel and have heard of him before. And so guess what? This validates the thesis that the more people who know you, the more money you make, even if you're not smarter, even if you don't have a better product or no product at all, even if you don't have a business, you don't have any business acumen, you don't have any clue about how to run a company, even if you just got more people to know you, you are going to make a lot more money. And that's the premise that we're building off of. Now, one final example of this is Shark Tank. And I interviewed Damon John. I had the opportunity to interview him on my TV show, Business Rockstars, which airs on Amazon, radio, social media, airplanes, television, all over the world. And I asked Damon, I said, look, I'm just curious, has having a celebrity brand made a difference in your success, even though you guys were already wildly successful before the show? And he said, after 12 seasons of Shark Tank, we've all became celebrities in some capacity, and we were all successful before the show. But I got to tell you, now that we're kind of celebrities in the business sense, we are so much more positioned to be able to become a New York Times bestselling author like Damon did with his book, to be able to pick up the phone and get a hold of anybody, to negotiate a better deal and a business investment, to really hire top-notch talent and partners, to raise more money for charity. And he just kept listing off like pretty much everything in the business, career, professional sense. His entire life and finances and network and opportunities got better as his celebrity personal brand got bigger and he got more well-known. And so this is just another example that even for people who are already super successful, when they leverage their personal brand, they have so much more opportunity, so much more direct return on their investment. I have a celebrity brand I invested time, energy, and money in. I'm able to correlate that with attribution to making more money, so that you're not just kind of like, well, I think getting more well-known and building my brand is helping. No, there's direct attribution to how it's helping. And these are just some examples to validate what we're saying. So the question you're probably asking yourself is, what the heck is KLT? And you're smart, so you already know it's when people know you, like you, and trust you. And when people know you, you have an omnipresent strategy, which means you're a big fish in a small pond. You are well known to only the right people who should know you. You're not a celebrity in the sense. You are just one of the leaders in your industry. And it doesn't mean you're a leader like whatever your notion of that might be. You are somebody who is well known and positioned in your marketplace, so that when people think about coaching or consulting or e-commerce or whatever you do, your name comes up. And we're going to give some examples of who's done this really well. When people like you, it's because you've helped them in some way. You've added value to them. You've educated them. You've helped them avoid pain or gain pleasure. And when people trust you, you have influence. And when you have influence and trust, people are most likely to buy from you. Now, look, if you're anything like me and you're a skeptic about most things, there's actual science behind the power of building your personal brand and being more well-known. So we're going to cover that right now. And the first thing is the mere exposure effect. And the mere exposure effect is a psychological phenomenon by which people tend to develop a preference for things merely because they are familiar with them. Now, the earliest known research on the effect was conducted by Gustav Fechner in 1876. Now, in social psychology, this effect is sometimes called the familiarity principle. And it basically just states that the longer time somebody's exposed to seeing you and your message and your brand and your content and your marketing and products and services, the more likely they're going to become familiar with it. And that's going to build some level of unconscious or conscious trust. And so the longer you see a person or a brand continuing to run their cycle and branding and marketing messages, you're going to go, you know what? They've been around for a long time. They must be good. I trust them to some level. And it creates the familiarity that increases the likelihood of a prospect buying from you and buying from you again and again versus a new brand that nobody knows and nobody's familiar with. So this is the importance of being omnipresent and leveraging what we're teaching you, which is how to be in front of your prospects over and over and over again, completely automated, leveraging the internet, social media, and systems that exist to all of us with nothing more than a cell phone or a laptop. Now, one other thing is the Dunbar Top 150 theory, which basically states that you and I, your customers, prospects, and partners, we can all only remember about 150 brands, products, people, names. And so when we're thinking about this, we want to think, okay, well, if that's the case, then how do I make sure I'm in the top 3? Because I really don't think that anybody cares about the top 150. For example, nobody says, hey, who's the best consultant I should hire? Who's the best program I should buy? Who's the best chiropractor I should go to? Who's the best dentist I should use? What's the best restaurant I should go to? What's the best movie I should watch that's out? Nobody's going to list off 150. And nobody probably even can think of that many. And so the point is, people are only actually going to remember and even mention probably their top 3. So the goal here is by implementing what we're teaching you now, you can be in the top 3 of your customer and prospect's mind. So when they're ready to buy or refer somebody or somebody asks them, I have this problem, do you know who has the solution? They think of you. And so to put this to the test, here's some companies that have done such a good job that all I have to do is say the name of the product and you will think their company and brand. So I say, for example, what you do, and instantly every single prospect names you. It's like all I said was back pain, and they immediately thought of you because you're a chiropractor. That's the power of what we're saying. So for example, I'm going to say the name of a product. You're going to instantly think of the company. I'm going to say Soda Pop. Who's the largest soda brand you can think of? Just think of a soda company. Now, most of you, if not all of you, are thinking Coca-Cola because they have spent $1 billion+ over their 100-year-long company. Billions of dollars, probably. I remember reading something that was like they spent $300 million in 1 year for marketing and branding. So guess what? This company's done such a good job. They're everywhere, all over the world. And anytime I ask an audience of people, what company do you think of when I say Soda Pop or when I say soda? Who do you think? Everyone says Coca-Cola. Maybe you get like 1 or 2 people who think Pepsi, because Pepsi is definitely one of the top companies as well. But 99% of people say Coca-Cola. Well, here's another example, the final one. I say cheeseburger. What's the first company that comes to mind when I say cheeseburgers? And 99% of the time, you're thinking McDonald's. Regardless of where you live in the world, this company is everywhere. And so it's the same thing. All I have to do is say the product, cheeseburger, and you think McDonald's. And so just understand, these companies have done such a phenomenal job at getting us to associate their brand with the product. So all I do is say the product, you think the brand. We need to do that for you so that when somebody says, who's the best wellness coach? Boom, your name comes up. Who's the best insurance broker? Boom, your name comes up. Who's the best realtor or mortgage broker? Your name comes up. Who's the best network marketer to help me start my business? Your name comes up. You get the point. And that's all because you leverage what we're teaching you right here, which is we need to get more people to know you and your personal brand, not your business brand. People don't go on social media searching for business brands. They go on there for people, human interaction that produce content, not talking about their products and services. That doesn't mean people won't buy on social media. It just means they don't go on there to buy. I go on Amazon to buy stuff consciously. I don't go on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube with a credit card in my hand to make a purchase. Now, it doesn't mean you can't get me to purchase, but I'm not on there to purchase. So it's easier to do what people are on the platform with the intention of, which is to consume content. And so remember, people love to buy, they hate to be sold. So get them to know who you are, like and trust you from the content you consistently produce, and that content helps solve a problem. And the same problem your content solves for free is the same problem your product solves for money. So if I help give you enough samples, enough breadcrumbs, enough experience demonstrating to you my value of how I can, for free, help solve the problem of getting you 1 or 2 steps closer to the outcomes you want, then you're logically going to want to buy my product and service when you're ready. It's a pretty simple solution. Now, I told you this was going to come back up. It's the triangle from the beginning where you have a product brand, business brand, and personal brand. And your personal brand amplifies everything you do, every product, service, business, career, charity you're a part of. Now or in the future, your personal brand will go with you and will help amplify the success of it. So let's peel back the layers. You can see here, you've got these 3 brand messages that when they overlap, this is what truly makes you unique. You've got your product brand, which has a unique value proposition. It should, which communicates to your audience in the message, what about your product is unique and different and adds value to me as somebody who's considering buying it. So if you can tell me the value I get and why it's different and more unique and better, then I'm likely going to choose your option. Now, and again, this is just the basics. Now, you have a business brand that should have a unique mission statement. And I can't think of a better example than Tom's Shoes. Tom's Shoes competed in the billion-dollar shoe industry, and Tom's Shoes kind of pioneered the for-purpose, for-profit business model, which meant that when you buy a pair of Tom's Shoes, they donate a pair of Tom's Shoes from your purchase. So when you wake up in the morning and put on a pair of Tom's Shoes, you know somebody else woke up that morning and put on a pair of shoes because of you. And so you made a difference in that person's life. And every time you put on Tom's Shoes, you know that you're somebody who made a difference in another human's life. And that's an amazing mission statement that allowed them to become a billion-dollar shoe brand in a very competitive industry. And your personal brand is uniquely what you stand for. Your values, your beliefs, your mission statement of you as an individual. What do you represent? Think about politics. If somebody, I feel like we've never been more divided, unfortunately, now than ever in history, and it's because of what people stand for. If you see a politician or another human say that they value, believe, and represent and stand for something totally different than you, odds are you're not going to probably be attracted to that person and want to do business with them or even talk to them outside of a conflict. And so the point here is when you share what you stand for, you don't do it in a controversial sense, although you could. That's a great way to get attention, even though it's not always what I would suggest. But you get my point. You want to share what you stand for so that you can find who's wearing your jersey. And so, for example, if you ever see people or heard of this or can imagine this, I mean, I as a guy or a baseball hat or maybe a jersey or a team, sport, I'm not that into it, but you guys get my point here. I got to wear a hat. Sometimes I choose sport hats, and somebody will see me wearing the same sport hat as them or a team they love, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you're the man. Did you see the game last night? Did you see Rodriguez?" And I'm just like, "Oh man, yeah, sure." And so you guys get the point, right? It's like if somebody sees you repping the same team and jersey as them, they're so excited. Instantly, you guys bond and have an experience, or at least they do, right? And some people are so obsessed that if they see that you're repping the same jersey as them, whether that's real or a metaphor, instantly they're on the same team as you. Instantly, you have connection. Instantly, you have rapport, and likely putting you on the path to having trust. Because how could you trust somebody who believes and values something totally different than you, right? That's what most people think. And so Your personal brand gives you a competitive advantage to show people what you stand for, what your values and beliefs are, so that you can tell people, look, if you're not wearing the same jersey as me, metaphorically, then you're not part of my tribe or my community. I'm showing who I am, my unique self. I believe God and the universe only made one of you, so you need to leverage that because that's truly the only thing that makes you different. Your product doesn't make you different. Somebody could copy it. Your pricing doesn't make you different. Somebody could copy it. Your business model or mission statement doesn't make you different. Somebody could copy it. Now, granted, all three of these combined makes you different, but I truly believe the only true differentiator you have is you and what you stand for as an individual and how you choose to show up and how you choose to leverage your personal brand. Now, here's a couple of people who've done a really good job of this. Steve Jobs was the personal brand representing the business brand, Apple. And I believe that Apple, being one of the most successful, profitable companies in the world, wouldn't be where it is today without somebody like Steve Jobs leveraging his personal brand, putting himself out there to represent the brand of Apple in a personal sense, to create that personal connection and do some of the most iconic presentations ever. And obviously they're famous for their product brands, iTunes, Apple TV, the iPhone, and the MacBooks and computers that they have. And Elon Musk, who's still alive today and is apparently one of the richest people in the world with his Tesla shares that he owns. And he's obviously famous for his business brand Tesla, which their product brand is the Tesla cars. And I believe that Tesla wouldn't be one of the most successful companies today if it wasn't for having the personal brand of Elon Musk behind it. That's my belief, and I'm sure you have some belief that's in alignment with that, because I don't think Tesla would be what it is without Elon Musk. And I believe that if Elon Musk left Tesla, the stock would go crashing down. And I also believe that if Elon Musk started another company, product or service or charity, it would become wildly successful because of his personal brand. So again, this is just a real example showing you some of the most iconic product brands, business brands, and personal brands, and how leveraging these three things together has made them some of the most well-known, iconic personal brands, product brands, and business brands in the world. But again, it's systematically leveraging all three of them together to truly create that differentiation in the marketplace. So again, one more time, the same graph. We get more people to know you and your personal brand for creating valuable, relevant content that makes a difference in people's lives because it solves a problem, the same problem your product and service solve, that ultimately moves them one or two steps closer down the field to making the decision to buy from you because you've moved them one or two steps closer to helping them for free. And that's what people want. And this leads us to mistake number 5, which is most people don't have credibility and authority. And also, I think that even if you do everything I just taught you, but you don't have credibility and authority, eventually you're going to see that you're not going to have the impact or the income or the impact or the influence you're able to have, simply because people are going to go with the person who's a leader and has credibility and authority and better positioning. And I think I know a little bit about this, or a lot about it, because I've got my own TV show where I've interviewed over 1,000 millionaires, billionaires, and celebrities and some of the biggest thought leaders in the world and influencers. Also, I'm featured in some of the biggest publications like Forbes, and I've also been on TV a bunch of times, interviewed about this stuff, and I speak on the biggest business conference stages in person and virtually in the world. And so I know a thing or two about building credibility and authority in a short period of time. And I want to share with you one of my many favorite strategies for building fast credibility. And so this is it right here. One of the fastest ways to build credibility. Just imagine if you simply identified all the top thought leaders in your industry and then interviewed them, because you could guarantee you could provide them 200,000 views on your interview with them. And then you simply target the video to all their followers as well as other leaders in your industry who already built your following for you. And all you have to do is target your content to their followers. And now you're going to seem more credible because every one of your potential prospects now sees you every day on social media. And most importantly, they see you with other top experts and thought leaders they already look up to and that they already follow. We call this authority alignment. Just watch how powerfully this impacts your brand. You're going to become a thought leader by associating yourself with other thought leaders. And so, like I said earlier, you don't have to have the imposter syndrome. You just interview somebody who is a true expert, somebody who already has built your audience. Remember, somebody already has your customer, somebody already has your following. You find out who they are and you interview them. period, end of story. Someone already has your following. Somebody already has your customers and built your audience for you. You want to interview every one of them. And then the internet and social media is so amazing. You can spend money, you can invest money at $1 a day or more, and you can promote these interviews as native content on the platform to their following or any audience you want. So because you can spend money to get views, meaning you can promote an ad, a product, a service, an interview, pieces of content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. They'll take your money and let you promote anything you want that's policy compliant. And guess what? You can just keep spending the money until you hit the amount of views. Therefore, you can guarantee views, and that's attention and eyeballs. And celebrities, authority figures, and other people that are at a high level usually will exchange a 30-minute or 60-minute time slot for an interview that reaches a lot of people. You can guarantee it reaches a lot of people by just spending money until it hits the amount of eyeballs you promised. Therefore, you could guarantee a thought leader or a celebrity 100,000, 200,000, or even 1 million views, and you just spend the money until you get it. And you can also get sponsors to pay for it as well as arbitrage. Boom! One of the best pieces of advice right there. Also, Mike Arce did this exact same thing I just taught you, and he leveraged his personal brand. He gained more credibility, and now he's doing over $1 million per month. And you can see right there, Mike Arce said, within the first day of working with Mark, he actually gave me a strategy on how to partner with a really big organization within my industry, and it's brought me $104,000. Absolutely incredible. There's Mike with his wife and 4 children, speaking on stage, interviewing Grant Cardone, and there's his main company, Loud Rumor, which is an agency based out of Arizona. So absolutely amazing how Mike Arce was able to go to $1 million a month in recurring revenue by implementing these same strategies you're learning right now. So let's talk about this. What if you're selling low ticket offers? How does this relate to you? Well, if you reach 1 million people with your content and only 500 out of 1 million buy something for $20, that's $10,000 in your bank. Now, if 500 people buy something from you for $200, that's $100,000 in your bank. So in this example, 999,500 people did not buy anything from you. Only 500 did. And you still made $10,000 or more. Think about that. So our goal here is to get a minimum of 0.05% of people to buy something from you, which is about 1/20th of 1%, which is a ridiculously small percent. It's laughable how easy this is for you to accomplish. Now, Kyle McHugh followed the same strategy, and he made $135,000 in roughly 2 to 3 weeks, and he's in the data science industry for coaching people. Now, another person who did this was George Wohair, a student of ours, who did $26,000 in just 60 days. He's also in the coaching industry, but for millennials. Now, let's say that you want to reach people in a specific location, city, or state. Imagine if you geo-targeted a zip code or area that you wanted all your potential customers to see your video content, like casting a web over your city with your videos. And then you just continue sharing educational videos every week until every person in the geo-targeted area knows who you are and eventually works with you. And since you've been educating them and they see you constantly in a good light, helping them for free, the mere exposure effect and Dunbar Top 150 kicks in, which means you'll always be top of mind when they're ready to buy. This is one of our favorite strategies for people with brick and mortar locations, restaurants, gyms, or real estate people or mortgage brokers or insurance brokers, people who are usually working a geographical location of 10 miles or 100 miles. You can target everybody at either a specific address. I can literally pinpoint your office. I can pinpoint your headquarters. I can pinpoint your house. I can pinpoint a restaurant. I can pinpoint a street block. I can pinpoint any location around the world from the comfort of my home and drop all my videos and content and ads and interviews just at that 1 mile, 5 mile, 10 mile, 50 mile radius without even leaving my house. If there's a convention center happening, if there's a giant sporting event, if there's a conference or an industry event or summit happening and I don't want to leave my house or fly on an airplane, I can just geo-target that address and everybody in that area will see your content, your interviews, your ads, or whatever you have. And you can just specifically drop a location. I want everybody at that hotel to see me in a 1 mile radius or 5 mile radius. Absolutely priceless. Now, let's say that you sell high ticket offers and you make $5,000 on the high ticket offer. If you reach 1 million people with your content, only 2 people buy, That's 2 people times $5,000. That's $10,000 in your bank. Now, if 20 people out of a million become clients, that's $100,000 in your bank. So in this example, high ticket, 999,998 people did not buy anything from you. Only 2 people out of a million did. And you could still make $10,000 or more. Just think about that. You've never experienced the fire hose of a million people experiencing what you have to offer. It's life-changing. And JJ Mazzo became the top mortgage broker in his region and makes millions of dollars a month with his team. And following the same strategy, Christina Nelson grew her Pilates studios to $1,450,000. She now has more time and money to focus on her nonprofit with her dad. And now it's so easy to reach 100,000 people per day. Just let me show you with a funny example right now. So what I did was I created a Facebook page like you could, not a profile, a page. A business page is a page is a page. They're all the same. I created a page. I just happened to make it called Jimmy the Banana, where I took a banana out of my kitchen, drew a smiley face on it. I filmed a video on my smartphone like you could do. I uploaded it on this brand new page I created just 5 minutes ago, and I uploaded the video. It has 0 followers, 0 likes, so the video would have 0 engagement. However, I used our secret formula, and I promoted this video, and on a brand new account within less than 24 hours, it already had 113,000 views, and I knew that it would hit that number, so I even wrote when I posted the video, this banana is going for a swim, because I threw it in my fountain, and we'll have 100,000 people watch him do this. I was so confident that I could hit 100,000 views because I knew I just had to spend enough money in the next 24 hours to get the 100,000 views. So I think it cost me about $245, like a nice dinner, for me to reach 113,000 people in less than 24 hours from uploading the video and creating a brand new Facebook page. And so absolutely phenomenal. It's so easy for you to reach 100,000 people a day, which ends up being 3 million people at the end of the month, which ends up being 36 million people at the end of a year. If you can just average 100,000 people a day every single day, it's 36 million people at the end of a year. So if you had 36 million people see you in a year, I guarantee you're going to have a lot more customers, a lot more money, and a lot more opportunities. So here you can see from us doing this exact same thing with just 2 campaigns we promoted. We invested $69,000 in promoting our free content. That helped us reach over 6,797,000 people. And ultimately, it generated us, more importantly, we made $298,000 from that, which, of course, it's not what you make that matters, it's what you keep. And we were able to keep $229,000 in profit in just 7 days. Doing the exact same thing I just showed you, it's just math. When you know your numbers, you'll win. And here's the craziest thing about it. We were able to invest $69,000, which reached 6,797,000 people. So about $10,000 per million people. And as a result of 69,000, we reached 6 million people. I only had, out of 6 million people, I only had about 300 of them buy, and it generated this type of sales for us. So out of 6 million people, only 300 bought, and we were still able to profit over $229,000. So again, it's insane. 99.999% did not buy. Only a tiny, like 1/20th of 1% did, less than that. And we still made crazy money, because when you have millions of people know who you are and see your content and see your ads and see your offers, you're going to make a heck of a lot more money. But I can already hear some of you might be saying, Mark, this is all amazing information. I totally see how this has helped so many people and it can help me. But what if I don't have my own products yet? How do I make money with this? Well, you see, most businesses have products and they still struggle. So having a product doesn't mean you're going to be successful. Having an audience means you'll be successful, because an audience is who buys. And so I'm showing you how to build an audience first, and then you can survey and get any information you need from your audience to bring them or create for them a product and a service or beta launch. So here's how you make money with this, even if you don't have a product, a service, or business of your own. You could go to things like ClickBank, which is an affiliate marketplace, and there's other ones out there. ClickBank's just the biggest and most trusted, and you could now pick any product, digital or physical product, and you could pick it from any category you want. They'll send you the product, the swipe, the links, the tracking, everything you need to be able to promote this so that you can go and immediately have a source of making money. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want. you could just reach out to a business or individual who already sells something that you believe in. And you could say, hey, could I become an affiliate? Could I send you customers? I really believe in your product. I know it's amazing, and I'd love to send customers your way. If I do, could you pay me commission, and what would it be? And then you could personally set that up yourself, or ClickBank allows you to do that without speaking to anybody because they're already on here and you could just go pick them. So if you don't know how affiliate programs work, it's pretty simple. You show an ad or a link for a store on your website, blog, or social media. Customer clicks the link. They're sent to the store through your tracking link. They hopefully make a purchase. It tracks the details to you, confirmed as a valid sale. It's credited to you. You get paid your commission. Ta-da! It's a very simple way for you to be able to make money, just recommending people to other products and services. And just for clarity, I want to be clear, you don't have to use affiliate offers for this to work. This is just an option for those out there who maybe don't yet have their own product or service and are wondering what they would sell to make money with everything they're learning right here. In which case, if you don't yet have a product of your own, you can definitely use affiliates as your products for now to get paid, as I just shared with you. And even we use affiliate offers to diversify the way we serve our audiences across our different channels, because most companies do leverage affiliates in one way or another, because it's a great way for you to add product offerings for your customers and create multiple new income streams for you and multiple new ways to serve your audience. Now, the cool thing is this even works in the most unique niches possible, everything I'm teaching you right now. And Andrew McFarland proves this. He says, Mark helped me grow my sheep shearing business from $100,000 to $220,000 in less than 6 months. And you can see his company, Franklin River Shearing Services, out of New Zealand, literally shaves sheep's wool, which I guess is a process that has to happen, and farms hire his company. And a sheep shearing business, we more than doubled from 100 to 220,000 in less than 6 months using these same strategies. So trust me, I have not seen a single business we have not been able to help by using our practices and strategies you're learning here. Now, this even works in e-commerce for any product, and Greg Nowalki is a great example of this. He texted me and said, we are at $440,000 so far this month in total sales. That's pretty darn good if you ask me. And you can see on the left over there, they already did over $1 million in sales, and that was in 2019. They've now gone on to do over $10 million in sales with e-commerce, selling everything from canteen bottles that clean themselves with LED lights to emergency backpacks to beard oils and straighteners. Everything that you can imagine, him and his company have sold, and leveraging different tactics and strategies that we're sharing with you here to sell all types of products around the world. So as you can see, there are so many ways to implement and begin leveraging this strategy for your personal brand and online business. And all of the ideas I just gave you work across other industries as well. But for the sake of time, we won't go through over 100 niches and verticals. We've implemented these strategies and tactics, and you can see all of that later. But by now, you can already see the power of this and how you can start cashing in on this massive opportunity to grow your personal brand and business. And what we're really talking about is how to leverage content marketing with direct response marketing. And the overlap between those two is really where the magic happens. And so another way of saying everything that I've been telling you about is step one, metaphorically speaking, visually, you chum the water with free content. The fish swim up and eat it. That makes it easy for you to net the fish with a lead magnet, which is join my list for a quiz, a PDF, a challenge, a masterclass, an ebook, whatever it may be. Step three, you're going to move them into a fishbowl, metaphorically, which is a nurturing sequence to an irresistible offer. So ultimately, the more you do this, you don't have to go fishing in the ocean, hoping that it's a great day to catch a fish, which is a customer, every single day, hoping and praying that your inconsistent income can smooth out and it can be predictable. You have your own fishbowl in your house, in your office. And anytime you need a fish, a customer, you have your own list, your own tribe, your own community, your own audience. And all you do is walk over to the fishbowl and drop a hook in and feed them, and they're going to eat. And they already know, like, and trust you because you've moved them out of the ocean into a fishbowl, and you feed them every single day for free. So when you do make an offer, they're way more likely to bite your hook because they're already in your fishbowl. Again, this is just a visual metaphor, but it hopefully is very helpful for you to understand. If you're still fishing in the ocean for customers as your primary sole strategy and you don't have a step 2 and step 3 here, no wonder you're struggling. It's also a great way to grow your following, which means that you're growing an audience of people you can serve and support daily on social media. And so you can see here, I spent $38 over 2 days, got 1,187 followers, and I reached 105,000 people. Then I did it again, $36 over 12 days, got 768 followers, and I reached 361,000 people. And I did it again where I spent $18 over 6 days, got 3,359 followers, and I reached 292,000 people. So in summary, I spent $100. I got about 5,000 new people following me, and I reached about 700,000 to 800,000 people. So just do the math on that. For $100, 5,000 followers and 700,000 to 800,000 people saw my content for $100. You want to learn more about this? We're going to keep going. We're not done yet. Now, the good news is anyone can do this. Trust me, anyone can do this. The only thing keeping you from getting what you really want is the story you keep telling yourself about why you don't have it yet. So divorce the story you're telling yourself, write a new empowering one that's all about how your personal brand is going to be the key